Hey there, I am so glad you're here. Come on in and enjoy Coffee Chat at the Cubby Hole. Okay, you might be thinking, coffee sounds fun, but girl, what is the Cubby Hole? The Cubby Hole was a divine little nudge on my heart, if you will, to build this space in our basement, in our home, where our friends and family could come and receive encouragement and love. And that's exactly what we've been doing. I've always known that the Cubby Hole would have a ripple effect out into the world, that it could bring encouragement and hope, not just to people that could visit here in person. That is exactly why I do coffee chats. I get to take some of the coolest people that are just like you and just like me, who have skill and talent, but most importantly, they have a vulnerable, relatable story that we can all glean some hope and encouragement from. So grab a coffee, cozy up, and enjoy Coffee Chats at the Cubby Hole. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Chat at the Cubby Hole. I am so excited for our chat today. I can't wait to introduce you to my friend, Katy. As I said yesterday on the promo for this coffee chat, we are going to get to a lot of stuff. We're going to talk about overcoming the heartbreak that sometimes can happen in a marriage. We're going to talk about mental illness, very tough topic. Mental illness, either with yourself, with you, if you're going through that, or if you have a loved one that is struggling with mental illness. We're going to talk about defining our normal and what that means. Business overwhelm. We're going to talk about how my beautiful friend Katy lives in her RV, which I find so fascinating. We're going to talk about so much. So I don't want to take too much time in the intro because we have so much that we get to. So let me introduce you, bring in my friend, Katy Kaumeyer, all the way from Texas. Hey girl, how are you?
I am doing great. How are you?
I am good. It's so good to see your beautiful face. We saw each other when we checked in on the chat, and we said, oh, we're wearing the same color. Just
Christmas spirit.
Filling the screen with some Christmas spirit. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for joining me. So much I can't wait to talk to you about. You are so skilled. You are so interesting. You're so inspiring. So we're going to talk about it all. And I know that, one of the things that you do is you're a Pinterest manager. You're a motivational speaker. You help people with organization. We're going to talk about all that at the end, you guys. So stay tuned because we're going to talk about business and how all of her skills and her stories have culminated into what you do. But to get us started, Katy, just give a brief overview, if you will, because what you and I were talking about the other day is your faith being the thread through all of this. Every single bit of what you do, your faith has carried you through. So I would love to start there.
Well, okay. Quick, brief run through. So my dad was a pastor. I grew up in a Christian home. In the church, behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, went all the way through high school and college group and all those great things. Met my now ex-husband. We were both working with the Dallas Stars Hockey Club and fell in love, got married, had 2 kids. Kind of in that, somewhere in there, I fell away from my faith. I walked away. I turned my back on it and felt that, as many of us women do, I felt that I could fix everything, that, I didn't need that help. I could just be that person that could fix everybody and help everybody and do what needed to be done. And after I had my kids, I realized that being an island all by myself, being out there with nobody, was not the way it needed to be. So I went back to church. And I don't really have that conversion testimony to say that, I came out of a horrible background and all the rest of it. But to say that I walked away and I came back, I think is a key part of my testimony, because there's a lot of people who have walked away. Right. I did come back, and he did envelop me in arms of joy and love and forgiveness. And I was welcomed back in. And, but through the years, just came up against a lot of struggles in the marriage. Infidelity on his part was part of it. And just got to a point within it that said, I can't do this anymore. And I prayed long and hard about asking for release and forgiveness. And the Lord finally one day said, now is the time to separate your lives. And so I filed for divorce. We're going on a year now. But among that, like I said, I did have 2 kids. My oldest daughter, she just turned 22, beautiful, strong, smart woman, graduated college, is out in the world trying to discover herself and learn who she is. But my son is kind of the key to a lot of where I am today. My son was diagnosed with autism, severe learning disabilities, and extreme social anxiety when he was about 13 years old. And that's where a lot of the struggles kind of escalated. I don't want to say they began, because he was born special. He was born unique. And I knew that from the beginning. But because we homeschooled, yes, I homeschooled both of my kids, kindergarten through 12th grade, graduated my daughter with her associate's degree from college. I knew he struggled, and I knew he had some hard stuff. And then earlier this year in January, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. So through that long journey, there were those moments, like you said, where I had no place else to lean except into God. Because and I want to say this real quick, and I'll let you, we'll move on with the story. But we were through all of these struggles that I've been through, and it's been pretty much this year. It started last December, and up to this point with the divorce and his schizophrenia diagnosis. So it's been a very rough year, not including COVID. So you add in COVID, right? But there were a lot of other things too that we struggled with. And there was a hard moment. A friend of mine asked how we were doing, and I explained that one of a family member was having some medical issues. And he looked at me and he said, how much more can you take?
Right. That's what's going through my mind, and that's what's going through the viewer's mind. I mean, that's on top of everything else you have yet to talk. Yes.
Yeah. How much more can you take? And my initial reaction, I just kind of giggled, and I said, how much more can I take? What? I don't understand the question. And he said, well, you've got this, and you've got this, and you've got this, and you've got this. And even you said it yesterday in the promo about all of the struggles and the trials and everything. And to be honest, what my reply to him was this: whatever God throws at me.
Right.
Because what that means is I have to lean even harder into him. And there have been moments when I have visually crawled into his lap and said, okay, I'm done. I'm done. But
very relatable. I know. There's no question. Most everybody watching has felt that.
Sorry, you said coffee chat, so I have coffee.
Girl, it's every time.
Yeah. But that, and like I said, you said that yesterday in the promo, and I had to actually pause the video, and I looked around and I thought, so my life, this is just life. This is just what it is.
Yeah.
And I have never, he said this to me a couple months ago, and you said it yesterday, and somebody else said it the other day. I don't see them as struggles. And I know that sounds weird. I don't see them as trials. I don't see them as hurdles to get over. This is just life. This is just what it is. I wake up, and we chatted about it. And the thing I tell everyone is, especially in COVID, everybody keeps talking about, I want to get back to normal. I want to get back to normal. Is this the new normal? I need normal. I need normal.
What is normal?
Ladies and gentlemen, normal is a setting on the dryer.
Yeah.
It doesn't really exist.
Because who defines what normal is?
Right? You do.
What is normal? Even with what's going on with COVID, some people, that's exactly. I love that quote. I love that. So true.
Well, and so here's where it came from. Those families who have children with special needs, right. And there are a lot of them out there. And that's another one of the things that a lot of people don't talk about. Mental illness is a special need. It is one of those struggles that so many people go through, but there's such a stigma around it in today's society. And that's pathetic. I'm just going to lay it out there, because how many of us struggle with depression, and we're afraid to say we do. We're afraid to go to the doctor and say, I have this problem, because somebody might think less of us, or somebody might not think that we're capable of doing what we want to do because we're struggling with that. Well, I got news for you. I struggle with depression.
Mm-hmm.
It is part of who I am. It's
Right.
not something funny. It's not something sad. It's, oh, I'm so sorry for you. No, I embrace it, because it's who I am, but it's also part of how I'm going to help somebody else. You know?
So I am listening to you, and it's funny, as you're talking, a notification pops up that I have an Adobe Flash update. I'm like, okay, can you go? And I was scared to hit the X button because I didn't want you to go to. So you asked you to very kindly remind me later, and I am still listening to you. So,
see, this is normal, right?
This is normal, right? This is
this is normal. It is. So you asked who defines it. We do. We define what normal is. And so many of us really are. We're waiting for things to get back to normal. We're waiting for something to happen. We're waiting for that diagnosis. We're waiting for that raise. We're waiting for the sale. We're waiting. But nobody's living. You know, we're so busy. Well, I'm going to do that when this happens. I'm going to do that when this happens. And my dad passed away 6 years ago. And I would give anything for one more hug.
Right. Yes, I get
that. And I said that over and over and over again. I'd give anything for one more hug. And a dear friend said, yeah, but how many hugs did you get?
Wow.
Okay. you know, right?
What an insightful question.
So we get busy waiting.
Yes.
We get busy hoping. Right? Right?
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, we're always, it's that next step.
The next thing. Yes. Yes. So, God, that's beautiful. I love what you're saying about normal, because, you know, and I have found, and first of all, I love all of your vulnerability. I am so thankful in this show that my guests are willing to be so vulnerable and tell their truth, and that's why I start with the story first. We'll talk about business. It's fun. It's so exciting what you do. I can't wait for you to share all of your talents and all your knowledge and impart that on people. But it's the story. I love that you're sharing that, and I love that you've wavered. I love that you're real about that. You wavered in your faith. There's so many people that don't have faith. They want to explore faith. They think, oh, people that have faith, they get it right all the time. We waver in it. And for me, when I'm wavering, the only normal for me, the thing that keeps me grounded, is when I surrender. Mm-hmm. Well, I say every day, but I can't always do it every day. Today was a busy morning. I didn't get a chance to do that, but the day goes so much different. And that's what I love about the tapestry of your life, is that thread going through is Jesus. But that doesn't mean that it's in the forefront every day, that you're just feeling, you know, sunshine and rainbows every day. He is there. And who said that? Oh, my friend Rhonda Corey. Oh, I hope she's watching. She said to me yesterday, she said her mom has passed away. She misses her dearly. And she said, my mom said to me, when you were a little girl, when we were little, and we hold our parents' hands so tight, when you're crossing the street, who lets go? It's often us that lets it go. It's not, Jesus doesn't let go of us. I hope I got that right. But I found it so heartwarming that's the truth. He doesn't let go of us. We're children that are wandering all around, you know, we're doing thing. We're like, oh, I don't need to hear. It's like a teenager. Like, I don't need to hear you. Or I don't. I asked your opinion, but now I don't like your opinion. Have you ever done that? So I love that, and I just had a chance to meet your son Daniel as he was walking by there before we started. And he's so sweet, and it's so cool that he is. A lot of what you're doing is because of his story. You've been able to stay home with your kids.
Absolutely.
A beautiful thing. Going back to that normal, I love that you would talk about it being just a setting on the dryer. Yeah.
So that actually, so my son has autism, and one of his issues is, even though I can teach him how to do something, his analytical brain has to knock everything into, you know, strategic steps, if you will. And so did you know there's actually 52 steps when it goes to doing laundry, from putting it into the basket to sorting it to washing it to drying it to folding it and putting yeah, we had to break those down. Well, bless his heart. I don't know for him if it's a personal choice to forget how to do laundry, or if it really is part of who he is, that, you know, it is one of those struggles, because there are a lot of those that he does struggle with.
Right.
And we jokingly talk about, dude, laundry is normal. Everybody does laundry. And we were sitting there, and his statement was, Mom, you keep talking about normal and that this is the way it goes. And we're in the laundry room, and he looks up and he goes, it's right there on the dryer.
Awesome. I love that. He saw that. He saw it, and the very literal. And that's what, I love that. I'm sure there are a million beautiful stories that have come from your, raising Daniel and your daughter. And so I know you struggled. I mean, all of this piling on, and you were struggling in your marriage, and that had to. What do you say to people that are struggling when, like you mentioned, there was infidelity in your marriage? I mean, talk about a hit possibly to whatever your confidence. I don't want to speak for you, but that had to be extremely hard. And you're homeschooling, and you're traveling through this, mental illness with your son and special needs and so much. Talk about that with your marriage for people that might be in that boat right now.
So that's always hard. And it was a big strike against my ego, because, I kept questioning, what was it that I did wrong? What was it that I wasn't enough. I wasn't this, I wasn't that. And the Lord gracefully has led me through, and I'm not done yet, obviously, because I'm still this side of heaven.
Right.
But he's led me through the process of, and I'm going to put this one out there. And you did mention that, yes, we do live full time in our RV. This has been a lifelong dream. We had the opportunity to purchase this RV. We have since moved in full time. This is life for us. But while we were married, he was military, so we traveled a lot anyway. And you sent me this amazing video of a gentleman, and he talked about being in the recreational vehicle. And that just, it struck beautifully with me, because through that part of the journey of going from, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, I did live with my mom at 48 years of age because it was a necessity. No shame in it whatsoever. I love my mom to death. She sacrificed quite a bit for us. But I went from, I've never lived on my own. And I went from living in my parents' house to living with my husband to living with my mom again. And now here I am on my own, doing this. But the journey through forgiveness is a long, hard journey.
Yes. Possible, but a long journey.
It is. And it's different for everybody.
Right.
It is truly different for everybody. But he walked me through the process of showing me that the choices that other person made had nothing to do with me. The choices that other person, and he's a great provider. He gave my kids and I the opportunity to live. We lived in Hawaii. We lived in Washington. We lived in all these beautiful places. He gave me 2 beautiful kids. He gave me the opportunity to explore what I wanted to do with my life, if you will. So I am to the point, and this is a daily and sometimes hourly moment of forgiveness, but I'm actually getting to the point where I'm grateful for what I had in the midst of that chaos.
Oh yeah,
that kind of forgiveness is healing, but it's also freeing, because, and you hear the stories about how they're taking up space in your head. Sure they are. And here's the thing. I spent 24 years with him. So he's going to take up a lot of space in my head for a very long time. He was an integral part of my life. So there's no cutting him out, getting rid of him. It'd be like cutting off half my body. It's not going to happen. But reliving everything that happened as in the past does not allow me to live today, and it doesn't allow me to go forward. So learning how to learn from it, and learning how to let it be a part of my life without controlling my life, is part of the beauty of recreating who I am. and allowing God to make those adjustments and have those changes in my life. That, like you said, it's in that surrender. It's in that letting go of saying, okay, I'm tired of living like this, and I just kind of want to be, I want to get up in the morning, and I want to live, and I want to have fun, and I don't want to think about that anymore.
Right.
And that's a hard thing to do. It really is.
That's so power packed. I love so much of it. You're talking about forgiveness. We always talk about it, coaching, we talk about it, forgiveness, understanding, it will set you free. It'll take the sandbags right off of your shoulders. But the mistake that so many women make, people, is forgiving too soon. It's like a ladder. You get the feeling down here, and then the happiness is up here, but they forget to stop along the rungs along the way and deal with the other rungs. You've got the shame down here, and you're like, I don't want to feel that anymore. I'm going to forgive. I'm just going to jump way up there. But you got to stop at the anger rung and deal with that. You have to stop at the fear. Now what? Your whole life is shifting. What do I do? And just I am so inspired, and I know that a lot of people are for your courage too, because that's not an easy thing to do. You spent 24 years together to completely uproot your life. Thank you for your honesty and truthfulness in that. And it's not about forgiving too soon. It's about healing through it. And I love that you mentioned that man that I sent you the video from. His name is John Peters, and it was the craziest thing. He sent me a video, and I didn't click on it. And you and I have been talking about RV living, and I was doing something. All of a sudden, I heard his voice, and it was his video popped up where he was talking about. And he said God gave him that message about living in an RV. But what he said was so beautiful. He saw the word different, recreational vehicle, but it's recreational vehicle. And that was like made for you. Like it popped up, and I had just gotten off the phone with you that day, was divine. You can't manufacture that stuff, but it clearly defined what you did. You've had to recreate your life, and I love your RV. I'm looking at it. Girl, we have a kid. That is beautiful. That is
Thank you. We love it. We love it.
We have to talk about that as well. Your son, so here you are. It's layering, it's layering one thing after the other. And now your son, Daniel, I just learned this when we talked the other day. I didn't, you didn't know this last time we talked. I don't think that he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. And we were very open about, I asked you if Daniel, you were going to be talking about this, and everybody what you said, he said this morning when you said that you're going to be talking about.
Well, okay. Yeah. So
I'm excited that you're going to share, just to be talking. He wants to talk to people about it and use his story.
He does. And that's kind of an inspiration for me as well, because, like I said, so many people struggle with mental illness, and it is frowned upon, and it is, we don't talk about that. We just kind of put it in the closet, and if we have to bring it out, we will, but it's not that important. We don't really need to. And we need to talk about it. We need to make it normal dinner conversation. We really do.
Yeah.
And one of his motivational things is, he actually spent time in a psychiatric ward, due to a lot of things that were building up, and he just kind of needed that respite, if you will. Right. And I do say that because it was a moment for him to step out of society and be in a place where he was accepted exactly for who he was. And it was acknowledged that there was this issue, and it was acknowledged that he needed help, and it was acknowledged and encouraged for him to talk and to share. And I'm not going to say it was fun. No. I'm not going to say it was easy. This was hard on all of us. And I'm going to say this, that as a mom, during that time, I truly felt like I had failed him, like I had let him down, and I had done something wrong. Schizophrenia is it's a hereditary thing. I have other family members who suffer from it. So in an essence, it kind of is my fault. But at the same time, God allowed it because there is a purpose. And he had a moment that he shared the other day that it both broke my heart and thoroughly encouraged me at the same time. And as parents, we all kind of know how that goes, that bittersweet moment.
Yeah, we think we're going to teach them something, and then you're like, oh, I received. This time, like, what? Yes.
Yes.
All of a sudden,
Yeah. Right. He had times when he was feeling bad, and he said, you know what? I'm going to keep going because I know that God has a reason for me. God has a purpose for me. And part of what he wants to do is reach out to other people and share that this is what schizophrenia looks like.
Gosh.
This is how schizophrenia is in life, but that you can live with it. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we've learned together is that almost 85% of homeless people out there have some form of mental illness, most of them having schizophrenia. But most of it is undiagnosed because most people don't know what it is.
Right.
They don't know what it looks like. They don't know how to deal with it, or else they're afraid to deal with it. Mm-hmm. And so the Lord has laid it on his heart to reach out and try to help other people. And that, as a mom, you know, it was kind of God's way of saying, it's okay. It's okay. You didn't fail. You did the job I gave you.
Right.
It's just I can't fire you yet.
Yeah. What a sweet blessing he is. That is so, Katy, I just have to pause in that. That's so beautiful that he wants to help others, that he has such a close relationship with Jesus. I feel like a lot of parents that are watching would love to know that. I mean, first of all, I have to say this. I'm glad. I mean, I hope you're not carrying that too much. I stop in that because I don't think that you really are you are beating yourself up, but I really pray that you're moving from that, because it's grieving my heart to hear. I love your truth. I don't know if I'm being cautious in my words. I love your truth and what you're doing, but you know, I hate to see you beating yourself up over it. And that's not that you're beating yourself up. So that's why
right.
Words, but man, the responsibility that you've been given in this, but I love that you recycle it, and it's such a beautiful story.
Yeah.
You are, are probably very responsible for, I'm thinking, is his relationship with Jesus.
I would like to think so.
But I'm there too, because sometimes kids find it on their own. So what we do is talk to parents about that. Sometimes they lean toward it on their own. Sometimes we're guiding them. Sometimes they don't want to hear it, and they do find it on their own. So what was in that?
Well, let me touch real quick on how you spoke about how that I don't want to beat myself up about it. So one of the things that, and you know, I love camping, obviously. So here's the thing. Feel the guilt.
Yeah.
Feel the shame. Feel the pain. Feel the anger. Feel whatever it is. Go ahead and stay there for a while. You know, just be in the moment. But don't camp out.
Yes.
Don't pitch a tent and stay.
I love that.
Visit it. You know, go visit it. See the sights.
Yeah.
Learn about it. Feel it. Truly immerse yourself in it so that you can have that experience. But then get up and leave. Don't stay. So yeah, when you talk about those guilt, we're all going to have them.
Yeah.
And no matter how many times I revisit those feelings, I'm still going to have those feelings of guilt. I'm still going to have those feelings of being a failure, of letting him down in those things. But here's the thing. I also get up and say, but I'm still here for him.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the perfect metaphor. Don't camp in it. And that's why I was even wavering in my words, because I know you and I know you don't, but I love that. It's the perfect way to say it, because it is so important. That's what I was just saying about the ladder. It's important to stop along the way and feel the feelings. You know, our world today, it's becoming numb in a lot of ways. I hear a lot of kids that are like, oh, you know, they can't feel their feelings. We're in some cases in life, we're trained to just not feel it. I hear so many people talk about that. No. And I know so many women that are just, you know, they'll cry. And what's the first thing you hear a woman say when she cries? I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
We're conditioned. Oftentimes, not all the time, but sometimes we're conditioned.
Okay. Well, here's a remedy for that. For those of you, go read Psalms.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly go read Psalms. Daniel raved at God. He yelled at him. He cried to him. He wept with him. He screamed at him. He got angry. He got frustrated. He felt alone. He felt every single emotion.
Yeah.
And he put it down on paper, and then he walked away from it.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
You know, he of all people exampled for us how we deal with our emotions.
Oh,
now, here's the thing. Get angry at God, but don't stay mad at him. That's important too. You know, again, go visit it like a national park, go visit it, see the sights, but it's not a time to camp out.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being angry. Even Jesus got angry. It's what you do in that anger that can create the sin, that can create the temptation. So have the feelings. There's nothing wrong with God created feelings, right? Have them.
Flipping some tables. For those of you that want to find Psalms, I love somebody pointed this out. It's directly smack dab in the middle of the Bible. And I have all my notes in here. I know during the quarantine when I was going through and, you know, just doing an overview of the entire Bible, we would sit with our kids at dinner. And one of my favorite things to talk to my girls about, I remember talking to them about the fact that David did in the wilderness and having to hide out. He had to hide out. There was a lot of Psalms is written about his
running and hiding,
his crying out to God. And that is, I'm so glad that you mentioned David in Psalms, because sometimes we feel like, oh, we can't cry it out. We can't camp there, but we could just for ourselves, we have Jesus and we can move on from that. But he did cry out. He did get frustrated and angry and poured it out. Those Psalms are good. I have a girlfriend that says that when she's feeling low, she'll just start somewhere in Psalms and just start reading. And she'll like, that doesn't apply. And then all of a sudden, boom, it just pierces your heart. And
right.
So many great songs have come from Psalms. So I love that. Thank you.
Yeah. Do we have time? I wanted to revisit, you talked about how Daniel and his faith and that stuff. So the kids growing up, we would read stories, but and you can ask both of them. They have moments where they're like, Mom, seriously. But after dinner, we would pull out the Bible and read something. And I learned with them to start, like you said, you start in the Psalms, you start in Mark, and you start with Proverbs. Proverbs has 31. Most months have 30 to 31 days, proverb a day. And it was kind of funny because the Proverbs, they're teaching you how to live life. There are those moments where you're reading it going, that has nothing to do with me. And then other ones where you're like, oh my goodness, really, God? Do we got to talk about that one? And I have those moments where I'm sitting with him. I'm like, Lord, we're not going to talk about that today.
Yeah.
Nope, we're not. No, Lord, we are not. No, no. And just kind of, right?
Oh man.
Yeah. That parent position,
Yeah, you can if you go through Psalms every day, like you said, some days of that month, you're like, that doesn't apply at all. Then you go through and there's nothing written. And then next month you go through and you're like, did I read that last month? Like, that's so fun. And then I've got my highlighter, my notes, I'm like, oh man, circling it. Oh my God, he hears me. Let's talk about that for a minute with the Bible. I didn't even plan on talking about this, but we are now. So I would love to hear from you. I know that I can say that my pages are torn. It's written, it's highlighted, it's Mr. Bubble stickers. Thanks to Vicky. So many people feel like you can't write in your Bible, but you make your Bible, you change the word and put your name in there with God's word. And it comes alive. And I was just telling David the other morning, we were having coffee, and I was led to this scripture in 1 Corinthians. And I was like, that has been sitting there my whole life.
Yeah.
I always beat myself up for things. Like we were just talking about. I would beat myself up. It was a comparison game. This person can speak this way. How's Daniel? Is that Daniel right there?
That's Daniel.
Hey, Daniel.
And I was going to say, I think you'll get a hand.
I love it. That's awesome.
You were talking, you can't write in the let me show you.
I stumbled on this scripture, and I was like, it was written for me that day. It was about, compare.
Talk about Proverbs, it's like, there's a lot of them. I can't even, I have to pull out my other Bible because I've written so much in it.
Yes.
I have to read another Bible to see what it is that used to be there.
Yeah. Yes. I love that you're saying that. Let me point, since you're mentioning that, this is the first part of my Bible. It fell on the floor, all torn and tattered. But
mine used to have leather on it. And it's the same thing. It's all totally. My grandmother said to me
once, it said, show me a person whose Bible is torn and tattered, and I'll show you a person that's not. Like, look what you've been through. But your Bible's tattered, but because your Bible is tattered and torn, girl, you may be torn and tattered on some days, but for anybody that's looking to get a Bible, I highly recommend getting one that has the, this is what it says. And then for Marlo, this is what did they just say?
Right? It's a life application. Yeah.
Life application. I don't know. Like, please explain it to me. That's the please explain it to me column. So anyway, I love it. Your Proverbs are all highlighted.
The Proverbs, Revelation. Oh my goodness. You should see Revelation. I'm telling you, like Revelation. I am an eschatologist. I do love, this is Revelation.
Oh my gosh.
And not to mention the fact, the amount of journals that are sitting over here from Revelation, but it's one of those neat things where I once saw, and I still cling to it. The devil whispered in my ear, "You're not ready for the storm." And I from my knees, I leaned over and went, "I am the storm."
Oh,
I absolutely love that. But then there's the other half of it where, all of the things that go on, all of the trouble, the tribulation, the trials, all of those things. The beautiful part of it is we know the ending of the story. Yeah. And we win.
Yes, that's true. And that's what I'm saying. All these things that you've traveled through in your life, it's a tapestry. It's all woven. We're just busy. We busy ourselves with the things, the responsibilities, the things, like you said, don't camp in it. We're processing through it, but it's already written. It's already, we're just doing the stuff in between,
Exactly. Which in the long run gives us permission to keep living.
They keep moving. That's right.
And not only to keep going.
And so the other, your normal is just a dryer setting. the other focus that you like to bring into the light is that, to live our lives, to give ourselves permission to live our lives. Don't just eat, breathe, sleep, repeat. Like just to live our lives. What do you mean when you say that?
So I'm going to revisit the fact that everybody's always waiting. I've in COVID, one of the neat things I've been able to do, I'm part of a women's networking group. We've got over 3,500 women across the nation. And I've had the opportunity to what we call connect with each of them. And what I kept hearing over and over and over again was, well, I'm waiting for the new normal.
Right.
I'm waiting for normal to come back. When is normal going to return? When I want to get back to what we were.
Right.
And it really sat heavy with me. And I kept thinking, what are you waiting for?
Right.
There, life is passing, even with COVID, even though we're quarantined, even though we're stuck inside, there is still life to live. There is, family members to get to know. This has been an amazing time for me and Daniel, because he is not a person of many words. I'm going to say that. But we have had so many conversations, so many opportunities for him to share who he is and what goes on in that head of his. And the young man is brilliant. As most autistics, he has his things that he is just fabulous with. But live and those of you that we've talked about living in our RV, we live in a campground. This particular campground was designed for long-term living. So we have 100 spots here. There are over 88 families that we have living in this location, and we've had a few of them that have quarantined inside their camper for months on end. Wow. They've had food delivered. Wow. And if anybody's ever been in a camper, we probably have 400 to 500 square feet in here. This is about the size of a very small apartment. My son has his own bedroom. I have my own bedroom. You can see the kitchen behind us. I have an office space set up right here. We have a living area. I even have a bathtub, ladies and gentlemen. I have a bathtub in my camper.
Cool. I want to come and visit you.
The invitation is open.
I love it.
Yes, but I got the opportunity to go to some of the people that live in our campground and talk to them. And they have the same mentality. I'm waiting for normal to come back. I'm waiting. And I sat down with one woman and I asked her, I said, well, what exactly are you waiting for? Well, I'm waiting for normal. Well, what was normal?
Right.
And she kind of stared at me like I was some crazy person. I said, seriously, define for me what your normal was. And so she went through this process of, well, on this day I did that. And sometimes I did that. And then I did this. And I went here and I did that. And I did this. And I said, so you didn't have a routine? No. So you didn't have days where you ate the same thing. You didn't have days where you went to the same place. You just kind of did what you wanted to do when you wanted to do it. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I guess so. And I said, so how is that normal?
Yeah. Right.
And I saw her sit back and I saw her relax and I saw this little smile in the corner of her mouth and I saw her go, I get it.
Gosh, you know why? Because when you stop and think about it, we just say things. Mm-hmm. We hear it on the news, so then we say it. We it's just like, that's what people are saying. There's good t-shirts. I want to get back to normal. And, you know, not at all wanting to be flippant or acknowledge, I should say, what's gone on. This has been a hard year for a lot. There's no question. There's been deaths. There's been all sorts of things. I can say for me personally, aside from knowing that and other hard things that we go through, this has been my favorite year because it makes me, like we were talking about your recreation vehicle. This has been a vehicle for all of us. The RV, the recreation vehicle. I have recreated so much in my life. I can say that. Just my way of thinking. What is normal? Time spent with family, getting over maybe the idolatry of what we're trying to do or whatever it is, just to have the simplicity, the awareness, perspective shift from this year.
Yep.
I know that I am grateful for that. And I don't know if I want to go back to whatever quote unquote some things were normal in.
Exactly.
I do want to go to a restaurant again. We're in Michigan. So I want to, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to go to a concert. That'd be great. But all that stuff aside, just spending that time to take a look inward and lean on Jesus and just perspective shift. I know that you feel that same way. Katy,
right.
Okay, your RV. I want to touch on that again real quick. Like I am not kidding. I want to live. David knows. We both know when the kids are older, I want to get an RV and travel and downsize and go and just go. Somebody wrote that here. They said RV, get up and go. Like,
Yep.
Let's just. So I love your space. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
And one of the things that you talked about was you just love with recreating your life is embracing the simplicity. That's another thing. Normal. Like, what is a normal amount of stuff? Who defines it? We just add more. George Carlin talks about how we have stuff. We lock up our stuff. We go out and buy more stuff, and we just have stuff.
Right.
We use it.
Yep. Well, so I have a quick and fast rule. 3 things. 3 boxes, 3 things. 3 boxes. Keep, give away, throw away.
Yes.
3 questions. Do I love it? Do I need it? Do I use it?
Yeah. Okay. What's that?
I said, if you answer no to any of that, get rid of it.
It's perfect. Now this just perfect transition. Oh, I love it. In explaining what you do, I mean, it's no wonder to me. It's just no surprise to me, girl. You are a motivational speaker. You just ooze motivation and inspiration and hope. And I love. When we met in Dallas. We met in an event. And we were just kindred spirits. We just knew that, and like you said, with our friendship, we can talk and then not talk for a long time, and it's like we never stopped. You are so. I just love spending time with you. So no doubt you're a motivational speaker. You're also a Pinterest. Do I have that right? A Pinterest
strategist
and organizer. So, oh my gosh, so many people are fans of Pinterest. Tell people about what you do in regards to Pinterest.
So most people, if you don't know what Pinterest is, a real quick idea of it is a virtual search engine. It's Google with pictures, if you will. But you can also liken it to a virtual bulletin board. And within that, everybody has different types of bulletin boards with different titles on it. And then all of the little pictures with the descriptions in that, those are called pins. And you pin those to your boards. And for the most part, it is a crafter's paradise, or for the mom planning the birthday party, or the woman planning her wedding, or whatever. It's places where you can collect ideas and pictures and concepts of things that you want to do or create, or so on and so forth. For the business side of it, which is where I come in, it is actually a marketing platform. So whatever it is that you have or you sell, whether it's a service or an item, you can actually create a pin and put it out there for the population to find. Because here's the thing, there are over 400 million people who visit Pinterest every month. There are over 2 billion pins circulating on Pinterest. And so it's both a short term and a long term when it comes to the marketing side of it. And I told you earlier, I said most of the presentations that I've done in the last few months have been on Pinterest, because that is how I make my living. It is how I stay home, because with Daniel's schizophrenia, he has to have someone with him 24/7. And this has allowed me to be at home with him, to take care of him, take him to the doctor, and so on and so forth. So this is really my passion. I absolutely love Pinterest. I love working with it. But it is, and everybody knows it on social media, you are always going for that know, like, and trust. You want people to know who you are, who your business is. You want them to like your business and like what you do, and you want them to trust you enough that they're going to buy from you. And so you spend all of your time sharing things and showing things and describing things so that people get to that know, like, and trust.
Right.
The beauty of Pinterest, if you create your main account board properly, it is instantaneous know, like, and trust. If you go to mine, you can go on there and you can see that I live full time in my RV. You can see that I am an absolute geek when it comes to sci-fi and fantasy things. You can see that I love Star Wars and Star Trek. You can see that I own dogs. So, and I can tell you that 90% of my clients who have come to me have said, well, I saw on your Pinterest account, we have this in common.
It's perfect. Yeah.
But it's also a great place, to showcase your product and what it is that you do or sell. So having said that, it's also a great launching platform. So once you lay out what your content is on your website or on your YouTube channel or your Facebook page, you can put all of it on Pinterest, but then you can use that as a launching platform to plan out and map out your social media content. So, right?
I honestly, I was on Pinterest for a little while years ago, and I thought it was just for creative ideas. And then I wasn't sure. I didn't spend time figuring out how to pin anything, and then I got out of it and got on Facebook, and the rest is history. So I need to go back and visit that. And you are also brilliant at marketing, and this all flows together. And you help people, us creative types, who are, some days I joke, I joke, and I know God made me this way, but sometimes I feel like an IKEA shopping cart. Have you ever pushed one of those? It's like, they're all like, woo, like, oh my gosh, that's what I'm praying for, is that, Jesus will give me the spirit of reining it all in. Like, I get so excited about so many different things. So you help people organize, like physically organize, because I know you talk about organization.
Yeah.
I think in our physical space is what you mean.
Physical and digital, actually.
Well, giving people bumper rails, guardrails, which again, someone like me needs it, but
boundaries.
Organization creates the confidence. What's that? What'd you say?
I said boundaries.
Boundaries. Yes. You're like,
that's a scary word for most people. I'm like, no, I don't need boundaries. Here's the thing. For most of us creatives, we love the chaos until it gets out of control.
Right.
And then we immediately slam into the organization and the lists and the calendars and all those things until we feel like it's confining us. And then we go back into the chaos. And like you said, it's that IKEA cart where it's going all over the place, but you still have the opportunity to confine everything in it. So yeah, I love working with creatives, because I also show you guys how to have structure and structure chaos.
Yeah, because you were saying chaos robs you of your peace, just the time, your energy, and even your hope. You've said it is so fascinating when you think about it that way. We just live our lives doing the same chaos every day, like, woo, driving all, moving all around. But I love what you do with that. I know you and we're going to do some talking. I know that. And we have to be sure, I have to remember, you remember to put your information. I know you're going through a rebrand right now. We have to put it in the comments so people can find you. But get into that, like the organization and how that helps.
So like I said, for a lot of creatives, a lot of us left brain people, we like the chaos. We do, because that's how we get creative. That's how, we throw everything out on the table and we nitpick and we pull this and we join that and we just, we create. But then there also has to be, as business people, there has to be that structure within it, because if we're totally chaotic, we can't keep our clients happy. Or if we work for somebody, if we're completely chaotic that way, we can't get the recognition, if you will, because people walk by and go, I come from the corporate world. I was an HR manager. And so I understand when you're working with somebody, the need to know that they have their ducks in a row and everything's lined up. And I jokingly say, I don't have ducks. They're not in a row. I have squirrels and they're all drunk.
Oh my gosh, I've never heard that. I wanted to hear. You just described my professional life. I've got, oh my gosh, that is so funny. That's really funny. I've never heard that. That is so funny. You just nailed it with me. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yes. So but what I do is I help people to detoxify their squirrels, if you will. We go through
that's my thing. I know a lot of people do say the word squirrel. Like I'm like, oh, I'm writing my book, and then I'm like, oh, look at that. Let's do a toy drive. Like what? Right. My heart, my business plan needs to have a meeting and
Yeah. So that's basically what I do is I help people. Here's the thing. If you are a person who have all of your ducks in a row, you will always be a person who has their ducks in a row, and you will never know what drunk squirrels are like. If you are a person that has nothing but drunk squirrels, sweetheart, you need to give up the dream of having ducks in a row. It's not going to happen for us. We will always have drunk squirrels. It's just whether or not you can get them contained long enough for them to be productive. And you can. You really can. You can control those drunk squirrels.
You know what's funny? Like I said, this whole conversation, it's all a tapestry of your life, the stories. It's reflective in all of our lives. But what you're saying about what we do to ourselves in business too, it's the same in a heartbreak of a marriage. It's the same when we're blaming ourselves for the things with our children. It's no wonder we can get ourselves so worked up because we're beating ourselves up. I can beat myself up over my children, our marriage, this business. I'm a drunk squirrel. I mean, that's gonna be the what you're saying and what we were talking about, there being this thread through the tapestry of our lives is that, oh my gosh, we can't beat ourselves. We have to just name it, claim it, and have forgiveness for the people, the offenders in our life, for ourselves, for the way that our brain is made. We gotta just embrace that, feel it, process it. Don't camp out there in the
exactly.
I can't. The gifts that God gave me, I want to name them and claim them and find the answer. And you are an answer. For so many people, we have to find our people. Yes, of course, Jesus. But I mean, for business, for He gave you the gift. The answer is you're a conduit for that answer that He gives us because you are helping drunk squirrels.
Right?
I love it, and that's the gift that you give. And what say your website, and then we'll be sure to put it in the comments so that people can, if they want to right now, they can write it down.
So currently it is Creative Campaigns with Katy, and that's Katy. But we are rebranding, and it is actually supposed to go live next week. It will be Omni Media Designs, and I am really excited and really proud about this design studio concept because my son is going to be joining me on the creative side of things, and so he is launching into 3D printer designs and 3D printing. And so we have an Etsy shop where we're going to be selling. I sell a lot of e-printables in regards to calendars, organizational charts, things like that. And all of that stuff will be live and out there. They were telling us by the 15th. So we'll see if that actually happens. But yeah, this has been a long time coming, and I'm really excited because a lot of, and I'm going to be honest with you on this one, a lot of my business stuff has kind of been willy-nilly, that whole drunk squirrel concept. But God has actually been in the middle of Omni Media Designs. And this is one of the things that he has given us. And so we are really excited about moving forward with this one and having it out there. There's a bunch of stuff coming in January in regards to classes that I'm going to be teaching about how to create your content and social media and putting all that stuff so that you can spend a day or two and you're done for the month. Marlo, you're drunk in order.
What did you say? What did you say?
I said, we'll be getting your drunk squirrels in order.
We were just talking about that. I know. There's, you know what? It's one of those things too, and we can't beat ourselves up about it. Because I remember when I started jumping out, like dipping my foot in the pool of doing what I'm doing, I used to talk with David all the time, like, I can't because I don't have this ready. I don't have that. People have this, they have that. The idea is jump in, do your thing. Stop, evaluate.
Start where you are.
Yeah, evaluate, review it, redo it. So I always dream about having, more of a team of people, because there's things that we have to do in business that we don't want to do. When we have a choice, we have to do it. So you and I will talk. I know there's so much opportunity. We'll talk about, or I'll say it that way. There's so much opportunity with what I'm doing, and just it's what I do and what you do. It's honoring God, and I want to be a good steward of that. Let's show you the love. Okay, look who's watching. My mom is watching. She said, Katy. Thank you, Mom. You gotta
Thank you, Mom.
And when it says Facebook user, it means they're watching from my Reveal to Heal page. So the name, but whoever this sweet person was said, "Oh, your son, what a heart for God." So many great comments here. We'll have to go back and read them later, but she is Nancy, my friend Nancy. She loves this talk, and she just appreciates you sharing it. Pinterest is the bomb, mostly for recipes.
Yes, it is.
What's that? What did you say?
I said, yes, it is. It is the bomb.
I have ducks that like to have a few pops once in a while. Yes. And then the last one. Where do you get these squirrels from? I know that's a great comments. Thanks, you guys. And so you'll have to reach out to Katy directly. She is amazing. I am so glad, that time that I flew to Dallas to be at that symposium, it was wonderful. Our friend April was putting on, it was a wonderful symposium for so many reasons. And one of them was because you and I struck up a conversation at the end, and we are connected as friends forever, and I am so thankful for that.
Yes.
I love for you to have anything that you want to share here at the end. You have the last word, and share whatever you'd like.
I just want to say thank you, and I want to reach out to each and every one of you and let you know that you are not alone. You are not on this road by yourself. There is always someone who is walking. You just have to be able to turn your head and say hi.
Yes. Absolutely. And you said, I have it written right here on my notes from when we talked the other day. What you're saying is, God's got this. God's
got this every step of the way.
He's got it. He's got it. He's got it. He's got it. Even when we don't feel like he's there, he's there. And it's all part of a tapestry and a journey. So Katy, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I can't wait to connect with you just professionally, to sit and have coffee together and to chat. And I am coming to see you. Move over on your couch. I'm going to be camping out with you. I will be.
There we go.
All right, love you, girl. I'm going to sign off for now, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, isn't she awesome? So we'll have her information in the comments. Be sure to reach out to her. She is brilliant. I mean, we can only touch on, so much of what she does professionally, but if you had a conversation with her, your head would be spinning in the most beautiful way, because if you're like me, kind of like one of the drunk squirrels, if you will, with so much happening, like the IKEA cart that's just all over the place, she can rein you in. Truly, she has a gift for this. God has equipped her with a true gift, and you can see that she knows how to walk through adversity, to recreate her life through adversity. So she's not only living a beautiful life of professionally, but personally, she has this thread going through that you'll feel that. even beyond the professionalism and the knowledge, you will feel that, and you will feel so inspired and encouraged. So reach out. Okay, next week is our last coffee chat, official coffee chat of the year. It is my husband, David Rutz. I am so excited to have him on. I am so excited to end this year on Coffee Chat at the Cubby Hole with him. Okay, so until then, have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.